Hello, this is Elizabeth Minkeely, and today we're going to visit Umbria to see how mozzarella is made. Of course, we first start with milk, and we're at the Caseificio Monte Cristo, where cow milk is being delivered to make mozzarella. The milk is then siphoned into huge vats where it's heated, and rennet is added, so that slowly curds form, and it's these curds that will be making up the mozzarella. Once the curds are formed, they're taken out and separated from the whey, and it's the curds that will go in now to making the mozzarella. The curds are placed in a large tray where the whey slowly seeps out of it, and the curd is left to cure for up to an hour or so until the pH balance is correct. As the curd sits there and the whey drains out, it forms a solid mass, which is continually cut to drain as much of the whey out as possible. When the pH reaches the correct amount, about 5.0, it's ready to make the mozzarella. Once the curds have completely drained and have the correct pH, they are cut into pretty large chunks and taken over to the mozzarella making machine. And once the curds are put into the funnel, salt is added. And not all mozzarella has salt added at this point. Caseificio Monte Cristo prefers to add it at this point rather than to the brine later, because they can control the salinity much better. The curds are then pushed through and extruded once they've been chopped up. And here you can see the machine that it will eventually make the mozzarella. The curds go into that funnel at the left. They are then chopped up very finely, washed with boiling water, and are extruded. The cheese is extruded at the end. And here you see the curds, which have been chopped up, and you can already see they're starting to change consistency due to exposure to the boiling water and also to the chopping. And here you see the mozzarella curds are actually being kneaded by the machine. The liquid you see is water. It's 90 degrees, it's very hot, and it's this action of kneading it contemporaneously with the hot water that transforms the curds from sort of a cottage cheesy-like consistency to this stringy, rubbery, magical cheese that we know as mozzarella. When the curds have reached the correct consistency, they are extruded into round, ball-shaped dies, and this is how the individual mozzarella are made. As the mozzarella are made, the balls fall into a big tub of cool water. And at this point, they're still really soft, so they have to sort of be gently helped at first, and then they just are left to fall on their own. Funnest things that I learned is that to avoid a sort of mozzarella log jam at one end, the big tray of water is shifted back and forth to make natural waves that allow the mozzarella to move from one end of the tray to the other. At this point, the mozzarella is still really soft, really chewy, really warm, and we got to taste it at this stage. And here's Sophie having a bite. It is so delicious, you have no idea. Once the mozzarella is cooled off enough to handle, it still retains its round-like shape, then it is picked up from the big vat and put in smaller vats of water and cooled off completely, waiting to be bagged up. Some mozzarella makers will put salt into this brine. Instead, the Caseificio Monte Cristo has already put salt, so this is just water. At this point, once it's cooled off, it's finally mozzarella. You can see it's not stringy anymore, it breaks apart, and it's got that wonderful consistency now of mozzarella. Not all the mozzarella at Caseificio Montecristo is made in the machine. A good portion of it is also made by hand, and every day Riccardo, who owns and operates the Caseificio Montecristo, makes nodini, and nodini are small knots, and here you can see him making them. Now the word mozzarella comes from the Neapolitan dialect to cut, and so mozzare means to cut, and mozzarella is cheese that have been cut, and here you see he's made the knot and now he cuts it with his hands, and that's the origin of the word mozzarella. Another shape that they make are braids, and he makes a few braids. The braids obviously are bigger pieces, and it's just fascinating to watch him make it. And it's a mixture of having to work with it while it's still hot, and then he dips it in the water to cool it off just a bit, so he's able to handle it and twist it into the shape of a braid, sorry. And there it is. It makes it look really easy. Now once the mozzarella are cooled off, a little bit of the water is put in a bag, and each bag gets one single mozzarella. And these are the mozzarella that were made in the machine. And the reason they use the machine is because it's a consistency in terms of weight. So it becomes much easier to sell the mozzarella. They already know how much it weighs. Once the mozzarella is bagged up, it's taken down to their store just down the road in Pian di Porto. You can see the location of the store just below a local hotel, just outside of Todi. If you're anywhere near the vicinity of Todi, I highly recommend you come here. It's very easy to get to. It's just off the E45. And they have dozens of other cheeses I haven't had time to talk about that they make. Pecorino, cow's milk cheeses, goat milk cheeses, and of course, the mozzarella, which you see here for sale in their store. When we're up at our house in Todi, I come here almost daily to pick up some mozzarella, which I take home with me, and which of course ends up on our table.